Oh man, Bitcoin here at 34,700. Altcoins starting to move the dollar index, flowing to the downside. Is this now the turning point for crypto? Are we now starting to head into a powerful bull market? In this video, I'm going to break down the key levels in the charts and what I'm doing in this market right now. If you appreciate topic videos, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe, guys. I'm done with my traveling, with my jollies in Dubai, back in the studio here to give you that crypto love and wisdom. If you appreciated the fact that I was giving you the updates even when I was traveling, you've got to support this community. Make sure you're in our Telegram. And look at Bitcoin, guys. 34,700, maintaining a very nice upward trend here. Look at the 4-hourly chart here. Even when it's consolidating, which you can argue this is a consolidation, it's doing so slowly and in an upward channel like this. Really, really positive strength from here from Bitcoin. You can see if we bring out the EMA ribbon, we're seeing crazy strength again here on the 4-hourly EMA ribbon. It's just not losing its 4-hourly EMA ribbon. It looked like it tried the other day during the video I posted, but still riding nicely above it. And now what you're looking for is a powerful 4-hourly candle. Can you get a powerful one that just jolts you back up here and starts saying that, you know what, we're ready to go mount an attack at 36? Because when we tried to here 2 days ago, you can see we lost steam to kind of cool down. But now the RSI is not overheating. It's reset down here, and now it could probably go for another move at 36. But overall, this is a really powerful move. And so if we look at the daily chart, you can see that we are overextended, right? It wouldn't take an irrational person to look at this and say it's overextended. It is. Once we cleared our EMA ribbon, it's a big move to the upside, and it's not retested. It's not retested 32.6, and it's not retested 30,000, right? We just broke all the way through it and didn't retest. But you've got to understand, this is crypto. There's never a guarantee that you're going to get a retest. Once the crypto market decides to get moving, you guys know what it's like. The FOMO comes in, the greed comes in. Look at this, guys. Fear and greediness is just notched up to 68. If we take a look at the yearly chart here, we've just notched up to these levels. We've not seen levels of fear and greed like this since dating back to April of this year, where we saw a little bit of fear and greed up at those levels. So you're seeing that FOMO come back in. You're starting to see people take interest in crypto. And when you see that, you've got to then say, okay, maybe I'm not going to get the pullback. And so you guys have to be prepared that if we don't get the pullback, I know what I'm doing. But if we do get the pullback, you've got to keep a little bit of cash on sidelines, because you're going to hate yourself if you don't keep a little bit waiting for those pullbacks. So for me, if we come back to the EMA ribbon here, 32.5, I'm happy to nibble a little bit more. The closer we get to the bottom of the EMA ribbon, closer to 30,000, which has no guarantees, I'll be buying in bigger chunks. But like you guys know, I'm locked and loaded. Majority of my portfolio is allocated. I normally keep about 10-12% cash on the sidelines for those kinds of opportunities, and that's what I'm doing here in this market. So when you look at this, you can see this is showing a lot of strength here on Bitcoin, right? 2 days of consolidation again, the last 2 days. But here on a Saturday, a bit of a doji candle. If you're not familiar with what a doji candle is, or the candlesticks, or the EMA ribbon, you've got to head to ijaz.uk/TA. That is my training program where I take and distill 10 years worth of TA experience. I used to work in traditional finance within an investment bank, and that's where I learned this stuff, right? So if you want all of that in a structured place, ijaz.uk/TA, not to mention the fact that our Telegram VIP group is absolutely smashing it right now, guys. In yesterday's video, I shared some of the updates. You guys head over to ijaz.uk/TG. People are making some serious money in there using the signal, so definitely check that out. Link is in the description. So the other major thing which I shared with you guys yesterday, which we have to be very wary of, is this. The dollar index. This dollar index has been on an absolute tear. We know that from this point, remember, dollar index was in a downward channel, right? It was in a downward channel, and to be honest, at the start of this year, Bitcoin did really well. We know that, right? Horrible end to last year, great start to this year, but then there was a turning point. And that turning point is when the dollar index said enough is enough. And it was here. 14th of July, it decided that it was just going to change trend, and it worked its way to the top of the channel. Now, you would have been right at this point to say, okay, maybe it's just going to come back down here, but it didn't. It broke with vengeance, it retested, and then it went straight through. So it met the first pivot point, which was here at 104, then it met the second pivot point, which is this purple line, and it kept going, right? It came back for a retest, looked like it wanted to go again, but now it's starting to struggle. It created lower highs, and it started curling over. Right? And this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want. We want inflation to come down. We want the jobs to soften like we saw yesterday in the reading. And that is why we're seeing this powerful candlestick driving the dollar index here below its EMA candle, below its EMA ribbon. And if it stays below its EMA ribbon and it starts downward trending, this is going to be hugely beneficial for Bitcoin. And that's the move I want to be riding here. As risk rotates back on, which is the dollar index moving to the downside, you will see the NASDAQ start to do well. You will see traditional markets start to do well. I mean, if you jump on over to the traditional markets yesterday, Russell 2000, 2.7%, NASDAQ, 1.4%, the S&P, another percent. You saw a lot of euphoria. It had the best week this year in the traditional markets. And so when you look at it, this is going to be hugely important for Bitcoin right now, is that this moves to the downside, not just on the daily chart, but let's see it on the weekly chart. Can we send this into its weekly EMA ribbon and below it, right? What we don't want is it just to come here, cool off, boom, off it goes again, right? That wouldn't be good. So very important that we follow this dollar index and we can see it start to move here to the downside. The other thing that is very important to look at is the Bitcoin dominance. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance here over the last week or so, you can see it having just a little bit of a cooling off. It's had a very powerful period of time here, breaking through the 53% line, which we spoke about, and then it moved higher. Now it looks like it wants to retest. Not only does it want to retest its EMA ribbon, it also wants to test this horizontal line at 53. So during this period, you can see altcoins doing well, and that is why you're seeing a bunch of altcoins perform really well, which is why our altcoins in the VIP group have been absolutely smashing it, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that trend. But you have to be careful, because what the dollar index, what the Bitcoin dominance will try to do is it will try to come here, touch, and go again. And if it goes again, that's where Bitcoin will have its move and altcoins will struggle again. And that is why for my long-term positions, not my trades, I'm always allocating Bitcoin Ethereum. I always have my veg. I always eat my veg, and I never forget to. It's very important that you guys do the same. Yes, it's tempting. Buy altcoins, so exciting. Gonna give you the 100x. I get that. When I trade, I do the same. But for my long-term positions, Bitcoin, Ethereum, boring stuff, and then I'll have fun with some of the other plays as well. It would be remiss of me not to take a look at Solana, which is having a very powerful day again here today, up 5.77%. I mean, last 2 days it was calling off, but the day before that, 7%, day before that, 10%, day before that, 6.4%. I mean, huge momentum. It's difficult to bet against Solana here in this moment. And this is something I've been speaking about, right? I've spoken about the fact that Solana does worry you in terms of their tech, in terms of their downtime. But the audience that buys into Solana, they buy for the reason that they move fast and they break things, and the user adoption is there. And so those strengths continue to play out here in Solana. There's still an active developer ecosystem. They continue to work on the project. You're seeing a lot of activity. And the reality is, after, Ethereum, a lot of people use Solana, right? They've used it. And so they've gotten over the hurdle of setting up their wallet, using Solana as an ecosystem. And that is why you're seeing Solana continue to benefit, despite all the tech woes that have been experienced. So Solana is still one to watch here. You're seeing Phantom here up to the upside, moving nice 2% here, bouncing off the 0.24 line here, trying to work its way here back through its daily exponential 200 line here. So important levels for Phantom, right? If it can hold above 24 and show some strength, it's got to start working its way towards 30 cents, where things are going to feel a lot better, right? Just remember, a couple of weeks ago, really, you're sitting here on Phantom buying at lows of 17 cents. Now you're sitting here back at 24 cents. And this is the importance of conviction. Yes, you can call out the team. Yes, you can be frustrated. Yes, you can doubt your investment sometimes. But you've got to ask yourself, why am I holding this project? What has changed? If I don't like it, I drop it and I move on. But if I do like what they're doing, if I do like the progress, then I'm going to hold, right? And investments are emotional. You can have periods where you hate what the team are doing. You can have periods where you love it. Just like a startup investment, just like when you buy some real estate, you can have days where you doubt it. You can have moments where you doubt it. You can have moments when you're frustrated, right? If you hold some Tesla shares and Elon Musk says something stupid, you're going to hate it. But long term, you have to ask yourself, why do I hold these projects? Do I fundamentally believe they're going to be in a far better position in the bull market than they're in now? Do I believe they have a good product? Do they have good tech? Do they have good use cases? And if you think that, that's why you allocate at the end of the day, right? That's the only reason you're going to want to hold something, because the price will only go up if more and more people use it, right? And that's what you're betting on when you're holding altcoins into the next market. So guys, my biggest plea to you guys right now is you've got very little time now to make sure your portfolio is allocated, right? I've spoken about this weeks ago before Bitcoin went on a crazy pump. I said, guys, what are you waiting for? Bitcoin was below 30,000. You were clearly entering a period of time where people are getting more excited about crypto. The spot ETF that's expected to be approved within the early parts of next year. The institutional money that's going to be flowing in. The Sam Bankman-Fried case is now getting justice prevailing on that side. Things are starting to look a lot better than they were in November of 2022. And you guys have to ask yourself, are you in on this crypto cycle or are you out? And I don't just mean mentally and verbally. I mean, is your portfolio in? Is your money where your mouth is? Is that the saying? Is your money where your mouth is? Or are you just talking a good game and you're not actually allocated? Because this market will start to move. Remember, guys, Bitcoin, when it moves quickly. And I said that. The gap to be filled here on Bitcoin, let me just clear some of this up. The gap to be filled in on Bitcoin is very, very steep. When we dropped, look how steeply we dropped here from 48,000, guys. So do not expect it to be hugely difficult for us to fill this gap. You're already seeing we're doing it very quickly. It's a matter of a few weeks and months here. And you'll be back at these levels. And then you'll be saying, why did I not buy at 30? Why did I not buy at 35? Why did I definitely not buy at 28 and 15 and all those lovely price points we had? But you can't cry over spilt milk. We are where we are now. If you think 34 is a good area to be buying in, you got to make that decision now. And I've seen a lot of people in our community asking that question, like, what do I do? Well, whatever you want to allocate in the market, guys, my biggest kind of tip, which I do, is I split that amount into tens. If I want to allocate $10,000 into the market, I'll split it into 10 chunks of $1,000 and I'll allocate. I'll buy a bit now so I don't get any FOMO. Then I'll wait to see, what does the price do? Does it dip towards the EMA ribbon? Great, I'll buy some more. Does it move slightly up again? It's all right, I'll buy another chunk. And I'll allocate my 10 chunks like that, DCAing it slowly into the market instead of dumping it all right now at 34,700 and then Bitcoin dumps to 32 or 30 and you're like, I could have waited. Cool. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to be in our Telegram group. You are literally missing out on some amazing trades right now in that group, which you could be taking alongside me, where I show you exactly the TA I do, how I enter, how I take profits, how I use stop losses. Everything is in that VIP group. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.